The Apex Northern Group, the Arewa Consultative Forum, has dismissed the call for restructuring, saying it was not well defined by its proponents. The group said the North could not be intimidated. The ACF also said the North preferred a referendum to determine Nigeria's continued existence, adding that various parts of the country could go their different ways if its existence were no more desirable. In an interview with Punch, the ACF Secretary General Aliyu said although the group was not afraid of restructuring, its proponents had not been adequately defined. Aliyu stated, "The North is not afraid of restructuring. What we want is to define what is it that we want. If we want to be in Nigeria and if we don't want to be in Nigeria, let's sit down and agree." According to him, the North is looking at all options and is leaving all options open. He stated, "We can restructure, we can become a confederation, we can devolve powers, we can have state police and all that we want, but I can tell you that the thinking of the North now is that we should have a referendum if we want Nigeria or not. If we want Nigeria, then we must sit down and see how Nigeria will work. If we need the country, let's sit down and decide, and we need the country first. Then we can now sit down and decide on how our country can work for all of us. If we decide that we don't want the country as it is, then I mean countries have gone apart. And quite several other countries, they've gone apart, including Sudan, had gone apart. We don't want to go to war. The North is not going to be intimidated again to accept anything. We have to sit down and resolve whether we want this federation or this country as it is." Well, they are talking about a restructuring, the same language or the same terminology that, or the same definition that the federal government has been using, especially APC government. They will tell you, "Oh, what do you mean by referendum, by restructuring? That restructuring means differently to different people." And all of a sudden, they are coming out to tell us that they have already started restructuring, that Buhari has started restructuring. I don't know whether this Arewa group, whether they are aware that President Muhammadu Buhari has started restructuring, because they said they have started, according to what we heard from the spokespeople. So, but by that being said, because we know that all of those are they are just playing into the gallery. They are not serious about it. You can't be saying restructuring when you know the people who are talking about this restructuring, these sociocultural groups across the country, they've been talking about restructuring, and you want to go about restructuring and they are not aware. All of a sudden you said you have started restructuring. Well, according to what this the Arewa group is saying, the secretary saying that they are not going to be intimidated. Okay, if we don't want Nigeria, people say they don't want Nigeria, then let there be referendum. I think that is the same thing IPOB has been calling the government to do, calling Nigerian government to let there be referendum. And some people are saying, "Oh, if you go through that referendum, they will still manipulate it to the way they manipulate what is it called? They manipulate elections." But at least to a very large extent, at least all eyes will now be on that referendum, if that is what people want, and it will be well monitored. I think Nnamdi Kanu suggested that if referendum must to take place, the international communities, international observers will be there to monitor it. But if you want to go in the line with the way they have been holding and operating, what is it called, election, sorry, might be the results at the end of the day. So if these people are ready for referendum, good and fine. Let's go for referendum. If that is what will keep this country, fine. But these people are saying, "Oh, they don't want a restructuring, they don't want this." It's not as if they are afraid. They are not afraid. They are not this and that, because a lot of people have these insinuations that anytime you talk about a restructuring, oh, these people get afraid. What are they afraid of? And unfortunately, what I've always been saying is that when you check all the politicians, the so-called leaders across board, they are united, but the people are not united, and the people are the ones suffering. The unity that is bonding the masses across board is poverty, the same problems everybody is facing. Because if you talk about the North, it is always about the elites there. It is always about their leaders. But you check their masses, the masses, they are suffering. They are even suffering more than the southern people. So, and that is what these people have been able to do, to just to cause confusion among the people, but the people are not getting it. They are not really getting it. Because if we talk about, oh, the northerners are this, the northerners are that, the politicians from the southern part of the country who are not getting appointments here and there, they are the ones coming out to say this and that. And if you go back to their various states, various locations, even as when they the way they even get their allocation, how are they using their judicial allocation they get to take care of their people? How are they using it judiciously? That is where the question comes in. But if you talk about the northerners, when you talk about the real northerners, the core northerners, they are the people on the streets you see all over the place. You see them across the country, begging, doing all manner of things. You could see that the suffering is just really written all over them, the real people. And meanwhile, they always talk about, oh, the northerners are the ones in power. The power they are having, it is just for their elites, their political elites or their leaders. So you see that the problems that we have as a people, we are facing the same problem. But the so-called leaders, they've been able to turn the people against each other. And that's why you see, oh, they will tell you, oh, Igbo presidency, Yoruba presidency, Hausa presidency. At the end of the day, who are the people that will be beneficiaries? It is the same political elite. And what is their percentage? And that is where we need answer from everybody. So if they said, okay, referendum, let's go in the line of referendum. At the end of the day, if problem is going to be coming out from all those regions, let them settle their problems. Now, then they will not begin to fight themselves. Not that they will not be pointing fingers. Then the leaders of those zones or the regions, they will not be pointing fingers or using other people as an excuse in their own failure in their respective states and constituencies. So if they call for referendum, if they want it, because that is what other groups have been calling for. They say they are not intimidated. Going apart for peace to reign, enough of monkey dey walk, bamboo dey chop. I beg, let us go our separate way. This marriage called amalgamation or is marriage of inconsistency. Enough is enough. This has fallen apart, or things are falling apart, and the center cannot longer hold. We don't know these greedy northerners. Can't we see that they are still trying to get the whole thing twisted? They like being circuitous, always buying time cunningly in order to quench the zeal that goes with the agitation. Well, one Yoruba leader who is benefiting in this wobbling state of Nigeria said yesterday that Yoruba would be in war for the next 100 years if we dare ask for emancipation. I pray God will spare his life to witness the evolution of Oduduwa nation. Then he will be colorless and irrelevant. Yes, this Chief Bisi Akonde saying that if they do this, if they do that, that just a threat, trying to threaten people, try to deceive people that, oh, if you do this, okay, just like I've said, I'm in the school of thought that if you, whatever you want, as even as leaders, in as much is to the benefit of the people, why not? But they will not still do it. They are not interested. And just like I said yesterday, they are the beneficiaries of every good thing in this country. But they will be telling you have to be calming down. Be calming down. Well spoken. Though I am a Yoruba man, this is a statement of wise elders. If at all there will be any referendum, let it not be decided by the Senate nor House of Rep, but rather same number of representatives chosen by the traditional rulers from each region. I smell a foul play if political office holders are allowed to have their ways in an issue as sensitive as this. Well, good talk. It has been well spoken. Let all the region hold referendum and decide. I think to go apart would be fine. So guys, let's hear your opinion. Leave your comment below and let's have your take on this. Thank you.